Shedeur Sanders' rookie season with the Cleveland Browns was never expected to be easy, but the final 3 games of the year are shaping up to be the most punishing stretch yet, both physically and mentally, for the young quarterback. Coming off a 31-3 dismantling at the hands of the Chicago Bears, Sanders is now staring down a closing schedule that offers little relief and virtually no margin for growth without pain. Cleveland will finish the season against the Buffalo Bills, Pittsburgh Steelers, and Cincinnati Bengals, 3 teams with playoff-level defenses, elite pass rushers, and extensive experience punishing young quarterbacks who hold the ball too long or force throws under pressure. That reality is the bad news Sanders must confront. Against Chicago, Sanders endured the most difficult outing of his short NFL career. He completed just over half of his passes, failed to generate explosive plays, and threw 3 interceptions while consistently facing collapsing pockets and disguised coverages. The Bears didn't just beat the Browns, they exposed how fragile Cleveland's offense still is, particularly when the game script turns negative early. Yet, even after that performance, Sanders struck a defiant and optimistic tone, framing the season as a necessary foundation rather than a failure. From a developmental standpoint, that mindset is admirable. From a football standpoint, however, the circumstances surrounding him are about to get worse, not better. The Bills present the first challenge, and it may be the most brutal, stylistic matchup Sanders has faced. Buffalo's defense thrives on pre-snap deception and post-snap chaos. Their ability to generate pressure without blitzing forces quarterbacks into rushed reads and contested throws. Precisely the situations that have led to Sanders' turnovers. With Cleveland's offensive line struggling to maintain consistency, Sanders will be under siege from the opening snap. Then comes Pittsburgh, a division rival that knows Cleveland intimately and plays with the kind of physicality that wears down young quarterbacks. The Steelers' defensive identity is built around relentless edge pressure, disguised zone coverages, and punishing mistakes. They don't need explosive offense to win. They simply wait for quarterbacks to crack. For a Browns team sitting at 3-11, the psychological challenge of staying competitive in that environment may be just as difficult as the tactical one. Finally, Cincinnati closes the season with a defense that has quietly become one of the league's most opportunistic units. While not as dominant up front as Buffalo or Pittsburgh, the Bengals excel at capitalizing on poor decisions, particularly late in the season when quarterbacks are physically worn down and mentally fatigued. By that point, Sanders will have absorbed weeks of hits, criticism, and pressure, all while trying to prove he belongs as Cleveland's long-term answer under center. Beyond the opponents themselves, Sanders faces these final 3 games without the support structure that often protects young quarterbacks. Cleveland's running game has been inconsistent, forcing Sanders into obvious passing situations. The receiving corps lacks proven separation threats, making tight window throws a necessity rather than an exception. And with the Browns long eliminated from playoff contention, opponents have no reason to play conservatively. Every defense Sanders faces will be aggressive. Every mistake will be magnified. This is where the bad news truly lies, not just in who Cleveland is playing, but in what Sanders is being asked to endure. There will be no easing him out, no simplified game plans designed to hide weaknesses, no late-season mercy. He is being evaluated in real time against elite competition with minimal margin for error. At the same time, these games will define how the Browns view Sanders moving forward, not statistically, but psychologically. Can he protect the football when overwhelmed? Can he command the huddle when losses pile up? Can he adjust when defenses take away his first read? These questions matter more than touchdowns or wins at this stage. Sanders believes this is the worst it will ever be. The next 3 weeks will test that belief. They will either harden him or expose how far he still has to go.